Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are back, okay? Back and better. Yes. Welcome back to another segment of Q&A Wednesdays. We took a little hiatus, but we are jumping right back into it. I hope you all have enjoyed your year so far. Technically, the year just started, but we ain't gonna get into all of that. All right, so we're gonna jump right on in, but just a couple of announcements. I hope you all enjoyed the showcase 2-for-1 this month. Shout out to all the participants. You know, it's always a good time getting some art therapy in and just seeing the amazing talent grace the stage, okay? No matter where they are on the talent list, just starting out, professional or in the middle, we appreciate each and every person that pops up and shows out. All right. If you have a brand or business and you need any assistance, make sure to connect with us. Book a free consultation so that we can have a plan customized for your specific needs. Download our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub, so that you can be connected with others like-minded that you can collaborate with, connect with, share content with, and so much more. It's just an intimate space for you to be your unique artistic self. Okay, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Check out our link tree to see everything that we have to offer. Connect with us because we got something for you. All right, now we're going to jump right on into this. Okay, we are talking about how can we overcome emotions, part 9. We have so many different emotions, right? And so it's not going to be all jumping into one segment, which is why we have so many parts. So if you've missed any segment so far, go on our YouTube channel, check it out. Go on our page, check it out to see exactly what's going on. Okay, but in the meantime, between time, put in the comment section, how have you managed your emotions? How have you overcome them? What have you done? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked? I want to know. And while you are thinking about that, check this first segment out.
The Pencil's Tale. Once upon a time, an old pencil maker took his newest pencil aside just before he was about to pack him into a box. Imagining the little fellow as a person, he recalled a few things about the pencil. "There are 5 things you need to know," he said to his pencil. "Before I send you out into the world, always remember these 5 things, never forget them, and you will become the best pencil you can be. The first thing is to remember that you will be able to do many great things, but only if you put yourself in someone else's hands. From time to time, you will experience a painful sharpening, but remember that this will make you a better pencil. Also, keep in mind that you will be able to correct any mistakes you might make along the way. And the most important part of you is what's on the inside. And remember this as well. Upon every surface that you are used, you must leave your mark. No matter what else happens, you must continue to write." It seemed the pencil listened to him and promised he would remember these 5 things so that he could live his life with heart and purpose. You see, in life, in your life, put yourself in someone else's hand. Embrace challenges for growth. Learn from mistakes. Value inner qualities. And leave a positive mark on the world. And you too can become the best pencil there is. This was The Pencil's Tale, and this is Dare to Do Motivation. Thank you so much for watching, and stay blessed.
What do you think about that? That was a good storyline, right? It's all about your mindset, and it's all about the lessons that you get when you're in something, right? Listening to your emotions, really allowing them to take place, allowing them to really resonate with you. Don't just dismiss them, acknowledge them, and do something about it, right? But what was your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. What did you think about this? And while y'all are writing and typing and all the things, let's jump into this next segment.
Ever had one of those days where everything feels too much? Like your emotions are in the driver's seat and you're just hanging on for dear life. One moment, you're fine. Then the next, you're spiraling, snapping at someone you care about, or crying in the bathroom, and you don't even know why. That's what life can feel like without emotional regulation. You say things you regret, you overthink, you shut down, you feel helpless against your own emotions. But it doesn't have to stay that way. If you've ever felt out of control emotionally, too intense, too reactive, too sensitive, this video is for you. What if your emotions didn't control you, but guided you? Because when you learn to regulate your emotions, it changes everything, not just how you feel, but how your brain works, how you see the world, how you handle stress, and even how your relationships flow. So let's break this down. What happens when you learn to regulate your emotions? Well, first up, your brain actually rewires itself. Ever heard of the concept neuroplasticity? Basically, science tells us that your brain is not a fixed machine. It learns, adapts, and physically changes based on what you practice. When you're constantly reacting to everything, snapping, freezing, or shutting down, your amygdala, aka your brain's alarm system, gets super good at going off. It learns to yell danger at every little thing that's new, sudden, or out of your control. But when you start practicing emotional regulation, you teach your brain a new pattern. You begin building stronger connections between your prefrontal cortex, the wise, rational part of your brain, and your limbic system, the emotional part. That means over time, you're literally building a stronger bridge between emotion and logic. You also start responding instead of reacting. Ever sent a long text rant you immediately regretted? Or said something in the heat of the moment that made things worse? When your emotions take control, you react without thinking and just clean up the mess afterward. But one of the biggest shifts you'll notice when you learn emotional regulation is that you pause, and that pause is powerful. It might only last a few seconds, but in those seconds, your brain gets a chance to choose instead of explode. You start noticing when you're about to snap, shut down, or spiral, and instead of acting on autopilot, you take a breath and consider, what am I really feeling right now? What do I actually want to happen here? You start to separate yourself from the emotion. Conflicts don't escalate so fast, and you stop making impulsive decisions you later regret. Stress won't own you anymore. When you're emotionally dysregulated, even tiny stressors can feel like the world is ending. A late reply, a messed up to-do list, a passing criticism from a stranger. But as you develop emotional regulation, your nervous system starts to settle. You're not constantly in fight, flight, or freeze mode. You're not suppressing emotions, but understanding them better. You begin to realize this feeling is valid, but it won't last forever. I can handle this, and that realization is everything. Relationships become way less chaotic. Being emotionally overwhelmed doesn't just affect you, it spills into your relationships. You might feel misunderstood, oversensitive, or like people are walking on eggshells around you. Or maybe you're the one who feels like you're walking on eggshells, or walking away mid-argument because everything just feels too much. When you regulate your emotions, conversations become clearer, boundaries feel more doable, and you stop assigning meaning to every little shift in someone's tone. People aren't the enemy anymore, and neither are your feelings. You learn to say things like, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we talk in a little bit? Or even just, that hurt, but I know it's not the end of the world. You start trusting yourself. When your emotions feel like wildfires, it's hard to trust yourself. You might feel like you're constantly messing things up, apologizing too much, or regretting how you reacted. But once you start regulating your emotions, you begin to build a sense of emotional safety within yourself. You stop being afraid of your own reactions. You know you can handle the highs and the lows. You know you can feel intense things and still make wise choices. But how do you regulate your emotions? Emotion regulation is not some magical personality trait only a few are gifted with. It's a skill, one that your brain wants to learn and that you can absolutely build. Here are some psychology-backed strategies. 1. Name the emotion, then validate it. It's not enough to just label the emotion. You also have to tell yourself it makes sense. In dialectical behavioral therapy, it's called self-validation. I'm feeling angry because I felt ignored. That's a valid response. Validation doesn't mean you agree with the emotion or want to stay stuck in it. It just means you acknowledge that it exists and has a reason. The brain calms down when it feels understood, even by yourself. 2. Check the facts. Our emotions often skyrocket based on stories we tell ourselves. They hate me, or I ruined everything. In DBT, check the facts means separating feelings from facts. Is there evidence for the thought you're having? If not, you can shift the emotional intensity. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches similar cognitive restructuring skills. Challenge the thought, don't just react to it. 3. Use the wise mind skill. Imagine 3 parts of your mind. The emotional mind, ruled by feelings. The rational mind, focused only on logic. And the wise mind, the calm blend of both. The goal isn't to shut down your feelings or overanalyze everything. It's to step back and ask, what feels true and is also effective right now? This helps you make grounded choices under pressure. 4. Reframe, don't rewrite. In CBT, cognitive reappraisal means changing the meaning of a situation, not denying it, but reviewing it through a different lens. For example, instead of, I embarrassed myself, try, I learned something about what triggers me. Neuroscience shows this technique lowers amygdala activation and helps regulate emotional reactivity long-term. 5. Opposite action. Feel like isolating when you're sad? Do the opposite. DBT teaches that while emotions drive behavior, behavior can also shift emotions. Doing what the emotion doesn't want you to do, like reaching out instead of withdrawing, disrupts the cycle. Your brain learns new associations when you act opposite to urges rooted in distress. 6. Track your window of tolerance. You're not meant to be calm all the time, but staying within your window of tolerance helps you think clearly. This is a concept from trauma-informed therapy. Too overwhelmed? You might be in hyperarousal, panic, anger. Too numb or checked out? That's hypoarousal, shut down, freeze. Therapists often teach clients to identify when they're outside their window and use grounding, movement, or support to return to center. And set emotion goals. Acceptance and commitment therapy teaches that the goal isn't to eliminate tough emotions, it's to live according to your values even when emotions show up. So ask, if I weren't feeling this way, what would I want to do right now? Then do a small version of that. This rewires the brain for psychological flexibility, which is linked to lower anxiety and depression. Therapists don't give these tools just to help you feel good. These practices change brain pathways, improve nervous system regulation, and help you live with more clarity and control. You don't have to get it right overnight, but every time you make an active choice to self-regulate, you're becoming a better version of yourself. So tell me, what's one emotion you wish you understood better? And what do you think it's trying to teach you? If this resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe for more grounded, real talk psychology content. Someone out there needs this reminder too, so send this video their way. We also have videos on 7 signs you're ignoring your emotional needs and are your suppressed feelings secretly harming you? Thanks for watching. See you soon.
What do you think about that? You know, I love the visuals now. It's always good to see examples, right? But learning to master your emotions and not allow them to master you is key, all right? being able to identify correctly what emotion you're feeling and responding to it in a more healthy way as opposed to acting out, being impulsive, and all the things. So, it's always good to kind of check yourself, check your emotions, check how you're feeling, okay? It's always a good thing. But let's jump into this last segment while you share your thoughts in the comments. I'm looking, I see you.
You know, people say, don't be so emotional. But at the same time, they also feel that controlling emotion is hard. People lose themselves when they get emotional. They feel helpless. It's like when you're emotional, you can't control your own body. Why is this such a problem and how can we fix it? That's what we are going to talk about in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Siddharth Warrior. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you what emotions are and how can you regulate them. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so. It means a lot to me and you get to see more such videos on your timeline. What are emotions? It's something that we've all experienced. We've all felt happy, sad, angry, jealous. But biologically speaking, emotions are neurochemicals in the brain that go up and down depending on what is happening in life. Our brain is constantly reacting to what is going on, and emotions are the fundamental reactions in the brain at the limbic system level. Now, if you've been a subscriber of the channel, you already know that the limbic system is the most primitive part of the brain. In other words, emotions are inevitable. If you're alive and you're experiencing things, you will have emotions. What are the neurochemicals that lead to emotion? There are many of them, but I'll tell you the three important ones. There is dopamine, which leads to happiness. There is serotonin, which if it falls, it leads to sadness. And there is adrenaline, which leads to excitement but also fear and panic. Now there are other chemicals as well, like oxytocin that leads to bonding, and testosterone and estrogen and progesterone. All of these chemicals come together to give you emotions. Now that you know that emotions are inevitable, what happens after that? If you picture the brain, imagine emotions coming from the limbic system. Gradually, your prefrontal cortex, which is the most evolved part of the brain, has to become aware of these emotions. And that is what we call feeling. There is a difference between emotion and feeling. As your prefrontal cortex becomes aware of the emotion, that is when the feelings come in. Feelings are subjective. It depends on you, who you are, what your memories are, what is your identity, what is your belief system, what is the situation that you are in. All these things will affect how you feel about an emotion. So, something can happen that can make you have anger as an emotion, but will you feel angry? Depends on the situation or depends on you. If you're not the type of person to get angry, you might not feel it, but that doesn't mean that the emotion of anger is not there. I hope that difference is clear to you. But what happens after you get a feeling? Then you get a thought. A thought is the first clear sentence that pops into your head about an emotion. For example, I hate this place or I love this person. All of these sentences are thoughts that come from an emotion. And finally, after a thought comes an action, which is, oh, let me get out of here or let me go and talk to her. So now let's understand the entire flow. There is emotion in the limbic system. The prefrontal cortex eventually gets the feeling. It then leads to a thought, which then leads to an action from the motor cortex. This is how we go through life. Now that you've understood what emotions are, let's talk about emotional regulation. And I want to tell you about 4 levels of emotional regulation. Level 1, zero regulation. You get an emotion and you act. There is no difference between emotion, feeling, and thought. And this is how animals operate. When something happens to them, their limbic system reacts in an emotional way, and that emotion gets played out as an action. A good human example is road rage. And we've all seen these people getting out of the car, thrashing somebody without thinking. This is when a human being loses complete control over their actions and they're acting out of pure emotion whether that's fear, anger, love, or jealousy. There is no prefrontal cortex, only limbic. Level 2 is when there is some regulation. The prefrontal cortex is aware of the emotion, it can even modulate the emotion, but when the emotion becomes too strong, then the prefrontal cortex is overwhelmed. And this is when you can see that somebody is trying to control themselves, but their action still tells you that they are feeling emotional. Level 3 is a good amount of regulation where the prefrontal cortex has control, so much so that they are able to suppress the emotion. So somebody from the outside can't even tell if this person is emotional or not, but inside they are feeling all of that emotion, so much so that they may even be suppressing it and they themselves cannot deal with it. In other words, the prefrontal cortex cannot fully feel the emotion because it has suppressed it. And level 4 is, according to me, the highest level of control, which is the prefrontal cortex can not only feel the emotion, but it can also modulate it, which means it can decide how much to feel. Is this the right time to feel it? If so, can I feel all of it? And can I still not act on it? Just have that feeling in place without letting the emotion control your actions. According to me, this is the highest level of emotional regulation that only a few people are able to achieve. So, how do you build emotional regulation? There are 4 steps. Number 1 is awareness. You cannot control what you cannot even see. So, first step is to simply become aware of your emotion. Ask yourself, what emotion are you going through? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you jealous? Are you upset? The more you ask yourself this question and the more you talk, or even better, the more you write, the more aware you become of your emotion. Learning to recognize emotion is a key step in regulation, and this is where therapy helps. A lot of people need help even crossing this first level, and that's why I always recommend journaling to everyone, if for nothing else, just to become aware of your emotions. Initially, if you're caught in a very strong emotion, you will not be able to think logically. In other words, your prefrontal cortex is not working well. So before anything else, your first priority is to reduce the sympathetic activity in your limbic system and switch towards parasympathetic. We've already spoken about the sympathetic parasympathetic relationship, and you know that one of the best ways to do this is by deep breathing. If you want to learn more about how you can use breathwork to control your sympathetic system, you can watch this video right here. Start by doing this, and it helps to make your step 1, which is awareness, easier. Step number 2 is acknowledgement, which is after you are aware that this is my emotion, simply acknowledge that yes, this is what is happening with me. Understanding that emotions are inevitable and that you are not meant to fight it or suppress it. You don't have to feel guilty for having an emotion, but simply to acknowledge that this has happened to me and this is something that I am going through. Step number 3 is acceptance. This is where your prefrontal cortex decides how do you feel about that emotion. How does this emotion affect you? What does this make you want to say? What does this make you want to do? What memories does it trigger inside you? Accepting all of this is a part of emotional regulation. For both acknowledgement and acceptance, it helps to have some sort of support system. That is, people that you can speak to, or practices like gratitude journaling. Just remembering what you are grateful for and putting this emotion in the context of life helps you go through these steps better. And finally, when it comes to step number 4, which is action, this is where you allow the emotion to become a feeling, which becomes a thought, which eventually leads to you doing something. Many people struggle with attaching the right action to an emotion, and for that, I personally recommend going for a walk. This is when you allow your body the freedom to move, but at the same time, you are not committing to a very specific course of action. Before you engage in any action which is more forceful, give that emotion action loop some time. Emotional regulation is an exercise that gets better and better with practice. I hope that this video helps you. If you have any questions about it, let me know. And if there are things that you have tried to control your emotions, I would love to hear about that as well. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone. Take care.
All right, so he really broke that down, didn't he, y'all? He did a very good job of talking about what emotions are, how to regulate them, gave 4 steps, all the things. I'm not going to get into that. I'm putting the links in the description so that you can go back and click on them and have time to write. If you're listening to this after, if you're watching the replay, thank you. Shout out to y'all. You have a chance to pause, rewind all the things so that you can see exactly what's going on and take notes when necessary, okay? But yeah, so what did y'all think? Because he was really going in. He was definitely going in. But it really just gives you a perspective about how your emotions work, how your mind works, how you can overcome and walk in emotional healthiness, right? Because that is a thing, right? Right. Yes, but I appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning in. That's all the time I have for you today. But I hope that you remember to regulate your emotions in a healthy way. Find healthy outlets. Express yourself appropriately. Do what you have to do. Do the work so that you can be your best self in every area of your life. And remember that you are uniquely designed and one of a kind. So don't let anybody stop your shine. Till next time. Intelexx here, and welcome to Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, the Indeed for Artists. If you want to be a part of the intellectual community, check us out. We have so much going on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and everywhere in between. And we even got our own app, okay? So make sure to check us out. Go to Intelexx.com. Go to our link tree. Look us up on social media at Intelexx APC so that we can best serve you. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of our vision. We appreciate you, and we wouldn't be here without all of our amazing subscribers and supporters. Don't forget to sign up for the talent show every month, and someone always leaves with a prize. And don't forget to take advantage of all of our special offers, our events, our merch, our resources, our referrals, because we are here to serve you, okay? And thank you for the love. Until next time.